5 superstars, 1 World Cup, completely different stories. Messi breaking every record in history. Mbappe hunting him down goal for goal. Haaland announcing himself on the biggest stage of his life. Ronaldo walking away in tears. And an 18-year-old wearing the same number Messi wore at his first World Cup 20 years ago. This is the verdict on every single one of them, and the numbers will surprise you. Cristiano Ronaldo, 3 goals, 19 touches against Spain in a must-win knockout match. 19. The greatest international goal scorer in history, with 146 goals across 2 decades, had 19 touches in the game that ended his World Cup career. He scored against Uzbekistan in the group stage, became the oldest outfield player to score in a World Cup knockout match, and then disappeared against Spain when Portugal needed him most. Roberto Martinez left him on for 90 minutes and never adjusted the system around him. He had 1 shot. It was saved. He hit the post from a free kick in the first half. When Ferran Torres slipped Mikel Merino in on the 91st minute and the ball hit the net, Ronaldo's 20-year quest for the one trophy that always escaped him was over. He applauded the fans on his walk around the perimeter of the pitch, tears visible on his face. 6 tournaments, 146 international goals, 0 World Cup finals. The record books will remember him as the greatest international scorer who ever lived. The World Cup will remember him as the man who came the closest without ever getting there. Before the Spain match, he said, and the words carry more weight now than they did then, "Whatever happens, Cristiano will leave with a clear conscience, not 100%, 1,000%, because I have given everything in football." He gave everything. The trophy never came. Erling Haaland, 7 goals, a 39% conversion rate, the best of any player with 15 or more shots since Gary Lineker at the 1986 World Cup. In his debut tournament, at 25 years old, Haaland scored more goals than Messi, Mbappe, and Ronaldo combined in their own debut World Cup tournaments. He scored a brace to eliminate Brazil in the round of 16, a result that ended Carlo Ancelotti's reign and sent Norway to their first World Cup quarterfinal since 1938. Then England beat Norway 2-1 in the quarterfinal with Jude Bellingham scoring twice, and Haaland's tournament was over. But the defining number is not the 7 goals, it is the 40%. Norway have scored 40% of their international goals since 2022, with Haaland on the pitch. Remove him, and this Norway side does not qualify, does not win their group, does not eliminate Brazil. He carried a country on his back at his first World Cup and nearly carried them all the way to the last 4. Norway have not produced a footballer like him since. The world has not seen a debut World Cup like his since 1974. Lamine Yamal, 1 goal, 0 assists, 18 years old. And the most important thing about those numbers is what they reveal about the gap between reputation and reality at a first World Cup. Yamal arrived as Europe's most exciting teenager, Euro 2024 winner, Ballon d'Or runner-up, 16 goals and 11 assists in La Liga in a single season. At the 2026 World Cup, he has been Spain's most dangerous dribbler with 21 completed dribbles, the most in the entire tournament, but the end product has not matched the reputation. 1 goal, 0 assists in 6 appearances. Spain have reached the semi-final without him producing the performances the world predicted. The argument for him is simple. He is 18, this is his first World Cup, and Messi scored once in his debut tournament at the same age. The argument against is equally simple. Mbappe had 4 goals and 3 assists in his debut World Cup at 19, in a team that won the trophy. Yamal's ceiling is unreachable. His 2026 floor has been lower than anyone predicted. Subscribe now, because this tournament still has matches to play and Yamal has not finished making his case. Kylian Mbappe, 8 goals, 3 assists, 19 total World Cup goals across 3 tournaments, second only to Messi on the all-time list. ahead of every other human being who has ever played the game. He leads the Golden Boot race. He leads on assists. He missed a first-half penalty against Morocco in the quarterfinal and still scored and assisted in the same match, putting France through 2-0 without breaking sweat. France have won every game at this World Cup and have not been seriously challenged since the group stage. Mbappe has been the tournament's most complete attacking player. The expected goals numbers back it, the conversion rate backs it, the shot map backs it. 27 years old and in his prime, one win away from a second World Cup final in 3 consecutive tournaments. If France win the World Cup, the conversation about who is the best player on the planet shifts permanently in his direction. If they do not, Messi's lead in the debate remains exactly where it has always been. That is the full weight of what Mbappe is playing for at the 2026 World Cup, and he knows exactly what it means. Lionel Messi, 8 goals, 10 assists, the most by any player in World Cup history since records began in 1966, surpassing the record he previously shared with Diego Maradona. 21 total World Cup goals, an outright all-time record across all men's and women's football, scored in 9 consecutive World Cup matches, the longest scoring streak in tournament history. At 39 years old, most appearances at a World Cup by any player in history, most assists, most knockout stage goal contributions ever recorded, 14, across 7 goals and 7 assists. First player in history to score a World Cup hat-trick at 39. And the performance against Egypt produced a statistic that stops conversation dead. The last 2 players to score complete 5 or more dribbles and create 5 or more open play chances in a single World Cup match were Diego Maradona against Belgium in 1986 and Lionel Messi against Egypt in 2026, 40 years apart. The same standard of performance, the same player, separated only by time. The debate this World Cup has produced is not whether Messi is the greatest player in World Cup history. That question was settled in Qatar in 2022 when he lifted the trophy. The debate is whether what he is doing right now, at 39, in his 6th tournament, breaking records that have stood for decades, is the most extraordinary individual performance the World Cup has ever seen. The counter-argument wears blue and has 8 goals of its own. If Mbappe wins the World Cup while Messi exits, the debate reopens at a completely different level. If Messi wins a 2nd consecutive title at 39 against a France side with Mbappe in his absolute prime, nothing in the history of the sport comes close to what that would represent. 5 players, 5 completely different World Cup stories. One retired in tears with every record but the one that mattered. One announced himself with 7 goals in a debut tournament nobody will forget. One arrived as the most hyped teenager in football and produced a quieter World Cup than expected. One is chasing Messi's shadow goal for goal with the best years of his career still ahead of him. And one is rewriting records at an age when every other player in history had already stopped. Whatever happens from this point, the 2026 World Cup has already delivered its verdict on all 5. The history books are being written right now.